No, the title's not a clickbait. By the end of this video, you'll get an exact percentage indicating how likely you or anyone else is to enjoy the second season of the show. Also, you might learn a thing or two about filmmaking. Sounds too good to be true? Well, miss out then, not like I care. Squid Game is a South Korean show, blah blah, you didn't come for a Wikipedia article, I know. Let's analyze this. The show from the very beginning presents the idea of money's impact on society. In a film, that's what you call a theme. Without nerding out, we can define the theme as a question of how to live your life. In Squid Game, that question is how far should you go to get the money you desperately need? And then there's also this sub-question of will having the money actually make you happy? Following me so far? Awesome. So, the first season of the show explores these questions in a brilliant way. We got a main character, Gi-han, whose life is torn apart and it seems as if the lack of money is the root of his problems. Now, we got that character's need. But then, he gets a chance to get the money by joining some shady game. So that's our inciting incident, aka the moment of the plot where we start having a story, not just a ramble about a broke man. Okay, great. Our character joins the game, from the filmmaking perspective, makes a choice, and realizes people die when they get eliminated. And that's where our question comes in. How far are people willing to go to get those sweet green plot catalysts? The rest of the season deals with that in a genius way, with all the impossible choices and subplots. I assume you've watched the first season. However, the second season doesn't quite achieve the same goal. Yes, it has its moments. If you're looking for crazy action and more twisted games for children, they're definitely there. Just this whole contrast between the rich and poor, the mystery of the people behind the curtain pulling the strings while a heap of miserable men and women struggle to stay alive, it gets lost during the show. Oh, and I'll warn you for spoilers, don't worry about that. By this point, you might be wondering, yeah, so what? The show doesn't need to talk about the same thing for 2 seasons. Yeah, not necessarily, but think about it. When you finished the first season of Squid Game, you had an idea of what is trying to be accomplished and why. If that idea gets changed or removed by the time you finish the second season, it's almost as if you were tricked to watch it. The creators promised you a Ferrari, but you got an airplane. It might be cool and expensive, but I sure as hell don't know how to fly an airplane, and who on earth is gonna buy that now? So most people might leave the show feeling a bit cheated or saying, it didn't hit me as hard as it did in the beginning. But essentially what happened is they left the car store with an airplane. You know, the more I think about this analogy, the less it makes sense, but you get the point. Now let's talk about something Squid Game made well. Cinematography. All the shots, wide ones, close-ups, they're all beautiful to watch. You can really see that the budget is much higher now and that it's being used for a good purpose. Some people might say that it ruins the intimacy you get watching the shots from the first season, which are also pretty damn good, but this is just a matter of taste. And as a cinematographer, your goal is to make every shot stand out and convey the emotion you get filming or color grading that. I can say that there's not a single shot that feels off or cartoony. You know what does feel cartoony? The dialogue. There are many scenes in which the sentences flow smoothly and make sense, but God, there are moments where you can't take these characters seriously. The problem is, this show's creators don't use a lot of subtext, probably in fear that their audience won't realize what's actually being said. I understand that, but what makes a great screenwriter is presenting subtext that's easy to follow and fills the conversation with meaning. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, subtext is the following. My cat dies. Let's say that I like cats and didn't have it just to torture myself. So now I'm sad, right? Let's say my friend calls me and asks me how I'm doing. I say fine. Now this is subtext. It's the most blatant and lazy example, but you understand how it makes an ordinary scene pop out a lot more than just saying, oh well, my cat died and I'm kinda depressed right now. We, as the audience, know you're sad. For us, you're just repeating obvious information and missing an opportunity to give your story an underlying meaning. I'm nerding out again, sorry. One more thing about season 2 of Squid Game, worth a pat on the back, is the way it combines realism with fiction. The poverty and the motivation to change society for a noble cause are both presented in a very raw, compelling way. And the fictional side of finding yourself on a little island playing the game of your life, literally, is integrated so well. Also, nearly every scene with Gi-han makes us feel invested and root for him because we know him so well. It's almost as if we're watching our best friend give a public speech. I can't say that for all the other characters though. This is where the spoilers come, so if you haven't watched the show, skip to this point of the video. Okay, with that out of the way, I gotta admit, the whole subplot with this girl doesn't contribute to the show at all. Don't ask me for her name, but effectively it's number 11, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, but 11 does not contribute to the show's plot at all. Yeah, she's trying to undermine the other soldiers, which, by the way, she fails to do, but what is her purpose, her motivation, her character at least? Generally, if you have a subplot which does not contribute to the story, you cut it off, otherwise you bore your audience to death by adding runtime which doesn't need to be added. And that's what I'd call the weakest aspect of the show. So, in conclusion, Season 2 of Squid Game doesn't completely fail to entertain the audience, but it fails to emotionally connect you with its characters. If I were to put all the little imperfections together and give you a percentage of how likely you are to enjoy the show, I'd say it's 81%. This percentage is the result of my analysis of each and every episode from the filmmaking perspective, meaning all the things they teach in and outside of film school about making movies and TV shows. Of course, this percentage rises if you're watching strictly for gory scenes and intense games, but it also drops if you're watching to psychologically analyze each character and get completely soaked in their way of thinking, so you take what you want from it. Thank you for watching this video, subscribe for more content like this, and tell me what you thought about the second season of Squid Game. See you soon.